ChristopherMedia.net.
Average weight loss 15.4 pounds in first 2 months. For guarantee cancel within first 14 days. Discount with 2 months of auto delivery. Food charged and shipped every 4 weeks. Call or see website for details.
Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Now you can lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months with Nutrisystem. Get delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners, even snacks and shakes delivered safely to your door. All delivered for free. It's easy to follow, and you'll see results in your first week. Just text BODY to 323232. You'll get your favorite foods made healthier and perfectly balanced to put your body in fat-burning mode. Text BODY to 323232 right now and get 50% off a month of meals and shakes. That's right, 50% off a month of meals and 50% off a month of shakes with probiotics to help support your immune system. Just text BODY to 323232 right now. There's even a money-back guarantee. Millions of people have lost weight with Nutrisystem, and you can too. Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months. Just text BODY to 323232. That's BODY to 323232.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out.
Imagine the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet, all in one place. Go ahead. Dare to stream with Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love.
Christopher Media, let's make some noise. Welcome to Beer Nuts, a weekly excursion into the world of craft beer, brought to you by MichiganBeerGuide.com. And now, here are the Beer Nuts.
Welcome to Beer Nuts, episode 174. JR here in Arizona. We have a episode called What's in the Box Tonight. It can be a beer that was in a box in your cellar. It comes as packaged in a box, or in your ice box, or maybe somebody mailed you a box of beer. So that's our show topic for tonight, but we're going to go around the horn to all the beer nuts. So JR here in Vail, Arizona, just south of Tucson. Actually, Corona de Tucson, which is not a very popular name right now, but that is the actual neighborhood I live in. But so the last Untapped check-in I had was this weekend in northern Arizona. It was a beer called Church Music by the Shop Beer Company, an Arizona brewery. It was a New England IPA, 4.25 stars, very, very nice beer, and I enjoyed that at the Molly Butler Restaurant and Bar in Rustic Greer, Arizona, where it was about 30 degrees cooler. So let's move on to Los Angeles. Welcome back, Steve V.
Hello, everybody. Good to be back. My last check-in was from Odell Brewing Company. I had their Mountain Standard, it's an IPA, and I enjoyed that at the 13th Street Pub and Grill in Boise, Idaho, while visiting a friend. So very good beer, very good town, had a good time.
Very nice. Now we're going to head up to the Mitten. We have 3 beer nuts from the Mitten joining us tonight. Let's start with Dugout.
Good evening, everyone. This is Dugout in Clawson, Michigan. And my last Untapped check-in is from Witch's Hat Brewery out of South Lyon, Michigan. They make some really good beers. I had their Blueberry Lemonade Goza, which, you know what? I'm not the biggest fan of that style, Goza, but, man, this was delicious.
Agreed.
Awesome. So let's go next door to John Golden. Welcome back, John. John Golden?
Unmute.
Oh, yeah, that does help, doesn't it? So my last Untapped check-in was The Conjurer by North Pier Brewing Company of Benton Harbor, Michigan. It was a Belgian strong golden ale. Very clean, light beer, but you could definitely tell that it had some oomph to it as it checked in, I believe, at a 8.7. But a really nice Belgian, had all that nice banana flavor and all that good stuff.
Good deal. And we're going to move from John in Royal Oak to Greg in Dearborn.
Yes, good evening. Hello, everybody. My last Untapped check-in was from Adroit Theory out of Purcellville, Virginia. It was their Invisible Art IPA, black IPA. It was beautiful, 10% light drinker, I guess. Nice, dark, roasty, really hoppy black IPA. You don't see a lot of those these days, and certainly I like to see more of that. So it was a really delicious beer.
All right. Well, Greg, you nailed me last week on calling Freem Brewing P. Freem. I'm going to nail you on Purcellville because I used to have Purcellville, Virginia as my territory. The L's are basically silent. But
okay.
So I digress. The grammar police are in full force. So tonight it's what's in the box. So everybody's got different things in different boxes. But before we start drinking some beer and reviewing, let's just invite everybody, please open up whatever you enjoy, from Coors Light to limited releases to meads, maybe not seltzers though, anything but seltzers. Please enjoy a libation with us as we go and review several outstanding offerings tonight. So cheers, everybody, and just to remind everybody, we are not a bunch of pretentious beer snobs. We're just a bunch of really regular guys that enjoy good craft beers, and we want to introduce more good beers and more good meads to more good people. So who wants to kick it off tonight? What's in the box? Somebody step up.
All right, well, if nobody's going to step up, I guess I will. So what I have today is a Sierra Nevada Bigfoot Barleywine 2020 version. This thing I crack open here. And see what we have. I'm expecting this to be really good since I've actually had one before. So as a typical barley wine, it's kind of a dark copper sort of color. It's got a decent, very, I say foamy, but a very dense head of kind of a slightly off white tan color. And wow, just beautiful flavor. Kind of very fruity, very malty. There's some hops there, but they just do a really nice job of balancing everything versus taking the forefront. Wow, delicious beer. I mean, it's as a typical barley wine, it's fairly high in ABV, but this doesn't really overpower you as being something very boozy or very heavy, which with just a real nice flavor that it's got with it, that could be very dangerous. Fortunately, I only have one of these, or I guess unfortunately, I only have one, but I only have one today. But yeah, very good, usual Sierra Nevada Bigfoot offering. Year to year, they just make some great beers, and actually one of the best part is that their beers aren't like really expensive. They seem to be able to make excellent beers, and they don't jack the prices up for no reason at all. Just because this is a sought-after beer and a well-known beer, it's affordable, it's drinkable, it's tasty, it's what you're looking for.
Good stuff. I know a lot of people collect verticals of that.
Yeah, like I said, this is a 2020, and that's about as vertical as I get typically. I have a hard time holding on to beers.
I know when I moved from Michigan to Arizona, I had 4 or 5 different years, and I had to be selective about what I brought. I think I might have brought a 14 with me, but I've already drank that. The rest of them went to friends and who helped me move and other beer buddies. But yeah, that's one that you can cellar for many years, and it only gets better with age. But hey, nothing wrong with drinking them fresh either. So all right.
I mean, it's good fresh. I can only imagine that if I had the ability to hold on to it for a few years, that it would probably be even better. But I'm too impatient.
Understandably. Anybody else have any comments? I'm pretty sure everybody, a lot of if not all of us, have at least tried a Bigfoot.
Well, one of the good things about being in the beer club we're in, John and I, is that somebody inevitably always has a vertical of those. And I've had verticals from 2010 up to 16, from 12 up to 18. It's just amazing how many people stash a few bottles of that away, and then you still get to taste it without having to do your own stash.
Good deal. All right. Well, thank you for that one, John. I think I'm going to go next because when everybody was silent, nobody really was ready to go. I was actually grappling with a cork from this bottle of mead I have, and I successfully removed the cork and just poured myself a glass of mead. So the way that this particular mead fits into tonight's category is I have a membership at Four Fires Meadery from just outside of Toledo. I believe it's Maumee, Ohio. Great, relatively new brewery. I was one of the founding family members of their membership club from the get-go before their tap room opened. And the benefit of that was instead of getting a 1-year membership, I basically got a 2-year membership because they didn't start the clock ticking on your membership until they opened their tap room, which was about a year ago. So yesterday, my last member bottles showed up, so now I'm going to have to re-up for another year. But unfortunately, I didn't refrigerate those. But this is another shipment I got a month or so ago of one of their better meads, and this is called Banana French Toasty from Four Fires Meadery. It's honey banana wine with cinnamon and maple. On the dry to sweet scale, this is maxed out at all as sweet as it gets. It is batch number 1, and they did a toasty, a French toasty, and a banana French toasty. So this is the banana version. I've never tried this. So let's go ahead and I poured myself some. This is it's a still mead, so there's no carbonation as you would expect. It pours a amber gold, like a dark amber, very almost like orange red. Very nice aroma on this. I can definitely smell cinnamon, definitely smell honey. So it does smell like French toast. Maybe the banana I'm not really getting, but the aroma. But let's take a taste of this. Oh, this is tasty. It's very similar to what I got on the nose. This is very, very sweet. I know we had Michael Fry on the show, who is mead maker for Meeting Room here in Arizona. And I've shared several Four Fires meads with him, and he would definitely agree that he thinks that the Ohio palate likes these really sweet, cloying, sweet meads. And that's not in a bad way. It just that's just the style that these guys generally produce, and this is no exception. This is a sugar bomb, but the good news is it tastes really like if you had a piece of French toast and you put some honey, some pure honey on it, and some cinnamon. It's all that is there, which is a very delightful flavor profile. I'm not really getting much banana. Let's take another sip, see if I can detect some banana in it. I'd probably have to taste this head-to-head with the one that doesn't have banana in to notice the difference. I'm sure there's a little subtle banana, but if I had blind tasted this, I would have no idea there's banana in it. But overall, that notwithstanding, I mean, it is very sweet. And it does have that on the bottle. They have like a little gauge, dry to sweet, and it's all the way like full tank of gas sweet. But it's a really, really good. It would be a really good, Sunday morning to start your day. I would almost say it would be great if we could have real French toast with it. It's a really a nice beverage here. Nice mead. I love having a membership at Four Fires. They do a lot of cool stuff. Their latest 2 member bottles that arrived on my doorstep yesterday in a box, as all my shipments are. Matter of fact, it's so hot in Arizona, I had to have overnighted, but fortunately Four Fires had a deal, a discount on overnight shipping. So I ordered a few other things to make it worth shipping. This member bottles that arrived yesterday, one really strikes my fancy. It's called Ovakila Vanilla, and it's meadow foam honey wine with marshmallow and vanilla beans. There's 7 different kinds of vanilla beans in this thing, and I can't wait to crack it. And then the other one was a Grafted Branches. Grafted Branches is an apple mead aged in bourbon barrels. So those are just 2 more Four Fires meads that I look forward to trying in the near future. So those of you up in Michigan, this meadery is not too far from the border in northern Ohio, outside of Toledo. I know Dugout knows where it is. They will be opening up some new memberships. I will be definitely renewing mine, and I'd highly recommend these guys. Always a treat when I get a box from them. So cheers. What's in the box? I love when the box of Four Fires Mead shows up on my door here in Arizona. And this is another winner. Banana French Toasty.
Sounds fantastic.
It is. And
actually, I came this close to Meads for tonight, opening up a out of a 2016 Kunin Chocorama Mead. But
it's never too late.
Yeah, that how I said it's like I don't keep beers. I have that beer, and I also have a beer from Stone. It's a oak meal stout. Those are the only two beers I've ever been able to hold on to and actually cellar. And one's not even a beer; one's a mead.
Well, I'm really enjoying this. It is definitely very sweet. So if that's not your jam, that's not your jam. But it's certainly my jam tonight. And I didn't mention the ABV. It's 14%, pretty standard for most still meads. But wish I could share this with you guys. I think all of you would enjoy it. So there's my what's in the box. I might have a second one later if we have time, but let's move on to someone else.
All right, I'm ready to go. So on my trip to Idaho, on my way back to LA, I stopped in St. George for the night in Utah, the southern part of Utah. And so it was, a cool, comfortable 106 degrees. And I had no intention. The only thing I wanted to do was go and grab some beer and sit by the pool and then get some beer. So I stopped in the market and I bought a box of some Moab Brewery beer. It came in a box. There was 4 different beers and 3 of each. So it was a nice little tall pack. It included their Johnny's American IPA, their Dead Horse Amber, a premium amber ale, and their Rocket Bike Amber Lager. And like I said, all of them were just tasty. I couldn't, I couldn't say, oh, this was better than the other. They all had their own qualities, and they're all delicious. But so today, though, I'm going to enjoy their Moab Especial. It's a golden wheat ale. It comes in at a 5%, so kind of works out when you're out in the sun just drinking, kind of just drink it like water. Pouring it, it's nice traditional golden amber color, a little dark on the side. Nice head comes from it. Their bottling's kind of weird. I didn't say weird, but they have very just kind of designs on their other cans. But the Moab Special has a Dios los Muertos skull on it, and their little caption on it says "All Good Days." So let me get it has that little traditional smell of like a Schlitz malt liquor. Kind of reminds me of my dad. That's one of the beers he always enjoyed when he got home from work, and those were my first little tasting of beer I always had when I was a kid. Very good, very smooth. Really dry finish at the end. A lot better than Schlitz malt liquor, I'll tell you that much. But really tasty beer. Like I said, I guess Moab, they also have a distillery there, and the guy who owns it has a brewery up in Idaho as well. But like I said, all those beers that I had, they were good. I kind of saved this one. I wanted to try this one out, and not disappointed. Like I said, it's great wheat beer. Has a lot of tradition in there. You can tell this guy enjoyed his old style of beers, and it comes across. But it just the smoothness of it is really, really good, and something I think if you tried it or had something similar to it, you'd enjoy. Like I said, good job from Moab Brewery. If you're ever in the area, driving around and want to beat the heat, I strongly suggest getting the 12-pack and enjoying all their beers from them.
All right, sounds great, man. So good that we're diversifying our beer styles tonight. I was actually thinking about that for an upcoming episode, that maybe each one of us could take a different style of kind of what our favorites. I know you have a lot of lighter and wet beers, Steve, is some of the beers that you frequently enjoy. So, but that was a good one, and good to have a beer from Utah.
Yeah, normally I'd do an IPA or like a wit, but yeah, like I said, I want to get something usually that I don't always get, and like I said, very very good selection.
Amen. Good review, good beer, good brewery. Thanks for the review.
Yeah, I've always had very good luck with Utah breweries. I used to go there skiing every spring, and Squatter's Pub always had great beer. Red Rock Brewery had some great beer. And this was, 25 years ago. So they were kind of on the leading edge of the craft brewery, movement, and they made some great beers.
Yeah, and living here in Arizona, it's not that far. We get some of our chain grocery stores even have some Utah beers. One comes to mind, Uinta, and Uinta made a really enjoyable lime pilsner. Great summer drinker with some lime flavor in there that I really like.
Yeah, I think actually isn't that Uinta?
It's Uinta, Uinta.
And they've always had some really good distribution. I first had them when I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina in 2010. But you can also get their beers in the Chicago area. They're obviously not in Michigan. But you do see them in Ohio, too. So you can get them over in Toledo across the border. It's just that they have, like in Ohio, it's spotty. You don't see it in every establishment, but you will see it from time to time. They've been known to make some really good IPAs and some black IPA that's really good as well.
Awesome.
We sure we don't see it in Michigan, Doug? I thought I've seen this.
It's possible, but I haven't seen it in years here, if I have. I mean, but in Toledo, for sure, I've seen it.
No, well, maybe that's it, yeah.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Discovery Plus is the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet. 55,000 episodes from networks like TLC, HGTV, and tons more. Woohoo! Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love.
Imagine the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet, all in one place. Go ahead. Dare to stream with Discovery Plus. 55,000 episodes from networks like TLC, HGTV, Food Network, and more. If you can dream it, you can stream it. See what I did there? Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love.
ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
All right. Well, that's
as long as I'm yapping, I'll continue things on.
Go for it.
My beer came in a box. It's a little box. It's a 12-ounce bottle of beer, but it came in a box, and it has a double-sided scroll with it about all the information about this beer. So, I mean, as you can imagine, this isn't your average run-of-the-mill beer. This is from Firestone Walker, and it's their anniversary ale, their 23rd anniversary ale, 2019 vintage. And I'm going to read a little bit off the back of the box to just kind of give you an idea of what's going on here. In the fall of 2006, brewer Matt Brindleson, who I worked with him at Goose Island. He worked in the brewery, in the pub brewery. So awesome that he went on to great fame as a master brewer for Firestone Walker. But he asked a handful of his winemaker friends for their input on blending a diverse stash of barrel-aged strong ales. Together they came up with 2010, Trailblazing Beer commemorating their 10th anniversary, and so began the annual Autumn Rite that now continues their 23rd year. So I usually find this when I'm in Chicago for the holidays, and as I did this one, and I picked up, they had 3 bottles. I think I've killed 2 of them already, and this is the last one, which I don't mind. I mean, it's, to me, I could age this forever, but I don't see the point because I've dove so deep into my cellar over the last bunch of months being in quarantine that there's no like rhyme or reason as to what I keep or anything like that. It's time to restock at some point. But, you know, and also, I mean, it's just, you know, I came to a realization that what am I saving them for? You know, I've got some verticals of Black Flame from White Flame Brewery, and that's pretty much about it on the verticals and the cellar situation. But this one's so interesting because of the sort of the paperwork that goes with it. I won't go into all of it, but what I will say, what made the final blend, and, you know, some of you guys may have had Firestone Walker, and they make some really incredible beers, but this one says the type of beer and the percentage that went into it. So we've got Sticky Monkey, which is a quad, and that's a bourbon barrel age. That's 28%. We got Parabola, which used to be called something else, right? No, that was the other one. That was Succubus. That used to be called something else. That's a Russian Imperial Stout. That's at 14%. That's another 28%. We have Bravo. These are all aged in bourbon barrels so far. That's an Imperial Brown Ale at 11.5%. We have Bourbon Barrel Eldorado, which is 15% of the blend. That's aged in bourbon barrels. That's a blonde barley wine, which, man, that sounds interesting. I think I have had that before. And then we've got Velvet Merkin, which is a milk stout, Imperial milk stout. That's 9%. That's a 5%. And then we have Tequila Barrel Eldorado, and obviously aged in tequila barrels. That's the same blonde barley wine. That's 4%. So that's what makes up this beer. And I think it's amazing that it gets all these like kind of high name winemakers. And then you go down the list a little bit, you see this name, Pete Schlossberg, and boy, that's a blast from the past. And if anybody's been around craft beer long enough, Pete Schlossberg was the founder of Pete's Wicked Ale, and boy, I don't even think they made it into the 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. But and they were around in the 80s and 90s, that's for sure. And they did a lot of the groundwork for craft beer in the way it is today. So pretty cool to see that name. A whole bunch of other names on here. Like I said, I'm not going to go into it all, but what I get out of here, this obviously is going to pour dark. There is some light that gets through, and you can see just some beautiful clarity in the light that you see through. The head is magnificent on this. I poured this some time ago, and it's still got some nice bubbles around the edges. Not much lacing. I'm sure there's not much residual sugar left in this beer after all this aging. I mean, the nose, you just get kind of this, I don't know, there's a potpourri of everything going on in here. You know, you get the bourbon, you get the wood, you get some smokiness, you get some caramel notes, toffee, dark fruits. I mean, there's just so much going on in the nose. And now you get to the tasting part, and it's got a nice bite to it from some of the alcohol, and this will age out really well. But I mean, I think it's drinking perfectly right now. You get that little bite of alcohol, but then comes all these flavors, and you get some nuttiness and oakiness. Again, more dark fruit and toffee. There's just so much complexity to this beer that's going on. I'm going to give it another sip because why not? I got it and I opened it.
Hey, Doug, where is Firestone Walker out of?
They're out of Paso Robles, California.
Okay, because I know being from Michigan, I hear the name Firestone and I think of Canton, Ohio, and the tires, and I think of Walker, and I think of Walkerville, Ontario, and Johnny Walker Distillery over there. So I was kind of curious where you're from.
Well, Firestone, before the brewery, there was Firestone Winery, and they've made wine for a number of years, really incredible wine. So if they come out with a brewery called Firestone, they've got to really be on their game. And I think they picked a really awesome brewer in Matt Brindleson because he's got that Goose Island pedigree where a lot of those guys that started out there went on to amazing things. I've seen some stuff online before. It's like sort of the tree of people that started at Goose Island where they end up in so many breweries, like Revolution Brewery out of Chicago. And, you could just go on and on and on with it, with where these guys all ended up. But Matt's been there a long time, and he does some awesome things. I mean, he does great things with dark beers and obviously with barrel aging. And, he was around the time when the Bourbon County was getting started out. And that sort of, regardless of what anybody says, this is the first bourbon barrel beer, blah, blah, blah. I think Goose Island, in my mind, Goose Island was really the first one to do it the way we have it now in bourbon barrels. Somebody can argue with me all day about it, but, I'm pretty firm in that belief. And Matt was a part of that. So, when it comes to bourbon barrel aging, these guys are outstanding, but, they do such great things with IPAs and the Luponic Distortion series and the ever-evolving series of IPAs using different hops, New World hops, experimental hops. Those are always worth picking up. Prices are reasonable. Firestone was one of the first breweries to ditch the bombers and go to the 12-ounce bottles. And they make a great presentation out of it. Obviously, beer in a box and all this literature that's with it. It's really interesting and it's great. And I don't think I paid any more than $10 or $11 for this bottle, from what I remember. It might have been a few dollars more, but for what's in that bottle, it's just outstanding. Part of me is kicking myself for opening this, but part of me's not because I love it. It's awesome.
Well, Doug,
what you're saying is they're not from Central Ohio or Ontario.
No.
So I was saying,
Matt Brindleson, Matt Brindleson is out of Kalamazoo, so he is a Michigan native, and he did go to Western Michigan.
Oh, Doug, great review,
yes.
Great beer, great description. Hard to top that one. And I remember before I moved away, I was on Twitter at Michigan. My handle used to be Michigan Beer Guy, which I actually still have registered, but I've created Arizona Beer Guy since I live here now. But when I was Michigan Beer Guy, about once or twice a year, I would send Firestone Walker a tweet, begging them to come into Michigan. And I remember one time they put out a teaser, we're going to go into a new state, who's it going to be? And they had like 3 or 4 states listed, and I was like, oh, please let it be Michigan. And it turned out to be like Kentucky or some other state. And I was really let down. I was like, man, what a tease.
I don't know. I don't even think they're in Ohio. If they are, they're new in Ohio. I think they're in Indiana. I don't see a whole lot of the specialty stuff in Indiana. I might find, some of the IPAs and stuff, but I do have to go to Chicago to get these specialty releases. There was, there was a time I was interviewing with them, tried to dabble, to get in there. But our timings were far apart, like within 2 years of each other far apart. So it never worked out in that regard, but I always had the highest respect for the organization and for Matt as well.
Amen. Yeah. And the good news is for me now I do get distribution of Firestone Walker in Arizona. So if any of you guys need anything, just where to call.
All right.
I'm here for you, brothers.
All right.
Can you send me a box?
Yes, it comes in the box.
It comes in a box. All the good ones come in a box.
Amen.
Send me a box of boxes. I'll be happy.
I can do that. All right. I think we're down to Greg to complete the circuit. What you got for us in the back? What's in your box, Greg?
What's in my box? Well, what came in my box and what I stored in my box in my cellar is from Barreled Souls Brewing out of Saco, Maine. Guess the southwestern side of Maine, pretty close to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where I have a pretty good trading buddy who regularly sends me barreled souls. So this is their Imperial Stout with marshmallows. It's technically named Stay Puff, but this one was aged in Willet bourbon barrels for 11 months and 21 days. Comes in 13.1%. It's a little 1.9 fluid ounces of deliciousness, and it comes in a nice, really nice glass bottle. So this was bottled April 29th of this year, and I'm so excited to try it. So sitting in the glass here, it's dark as can be. No color variations at all on the bottom, but on the glass, on the top of the glass, has a nice like a chocolatey marshmallow, mocha head that has actually retained pretty well. It's compact bubbles, and it's sat there pretty good, right on the edge of the foam there. It's really sitting nicely. Real pretty beer. First smell is just it's just chocolate marshmallow. I mean, just that's the best I can say is vanilla. You can smell that sweetness of that marshmallow, vanilla, whatever it is. It's absolutely gorgeous. You get a little bit of bourbon, just maybe some dark chocolate, sweet chocolate as well, but absolutely beautiful beer. First try. Oh yeah. Delicious. Get more of that marshmallow, vanilla, just lingers throughout the whole mouth. Get a lot of sweetness from that. A lot of sweet and dark chocolate mixed in there. You get at the very back end, you get a very nice the bourbon, just resonates there in the mouth as well. This is delicious. I've had a few now of the 2020s. This is the first of the Willet that I've had, but John's favorite. They had a peanut butter one that we had that was really good, and then they had a hot cocoa version that was excellent. And so this is nothing less than spectacular. And cheers to Barreled Souls and to my excellent trading partner out there, and for sending it to me. And wish I could share it with you guys, but I guess, alas, I will have to drink it alone. So delicious stuff. I'm glad I got it in my box the one day.
Sounds great, and even greater that you have a valued trading partner from Maine. I'm envious of that, because there's some great beers up there.
Great stuff.
So before we see if anybody has a second offering, I'll open it up for home brewing and beer news. Let's start with home brews. Anybody with any updates, you home brewers?
Yeah, actually, I have my Zuber Pale Uza. It's a pale ale I take to my camping trip every year in the middle of a Christmas tree farm in northern Michigan. That is basically done fermenting. It's just waiting for me to transfer it to a keg. And then Dugout and I are going to be kind of co-brewing a similar pale ale for our Polish Prince golf outing. He and I actually did a traditional Polish Iwo Grodziskia that turned out awesome, but we both decided that as far as the consumption by the general public would not necessarily go over that well. We figured that, most of these people are used to drinking Natty Light and stuff, and if you give them a smoked wheat beer, they're gonna go ew. So we made a great pivo, but we're gonna actually end up canning and distributing 100 cans to 100 golfers, a nice pale ale. And I think we're probably going to be brewing that in the next week or two at the latest, because we've got to have this ready by last or second to last weekend in August. So we got to hurry up and get off our butts and start moving on this. But I guess that's my homebrew update. Doug, you got anything?
Yeah, actually, still got the Belgian Golden Ale that's slated for the Valentine gin barrel that's been aging in my basement, at least 10 gallons of. it has, and it's really looking beautiful. I've got one in secondary in a glass carboy, and it's just, the color is just so outstanding. I'm almost tempted to not put it in the barrel in a way, but I know that's what it was brewed for, so that's going to go in there.
That's been there, what, for like 2 months at least?
It's sitting there 2 months now, aging. So, and then the other one is in a stainless steel fermenter that's been aging in primary since we brewed it. That one I did take a sample off of maybe a month or so ago. Didn't you and I, John, taste that one? That one was actually outstanding.
Actually we did.
We did. That was over almost a month or so ago when we sampled that one. I've never sampled the one in the secondary, although I did early, but I mean, that was before it ever went to secondary where I sampled it. That was tasting great. So if it's anywhere near what the other one is, that's great. And then we've got another fellow he's the president of our homebrew club, Damon, has the other one that he's brewed. He brewed his first version of it, went sour, so he rebrewed it a second time, and now his is ready. So we're pretty much ready to roll with it. It's just with everything going on, trying to stay away from each other. It's kind of hard to get together, you know. But in the case of this beer, it's not a bad thing. And as I told him when he was worried about getting it to me, or when he had to brew a second, I'm like, there's no rush. I mean, everything we were going to enter this into for competition has been canceled. But that brings me to my second point on home brewing, because one of the competitions that we had entered in the spring, early spring, the Charlie Orr Cup, which is run by the Boss, the Brewers of South Suburbia in South Suburban Chicago. They operate out of Hailstorm Brewery, which we've mentioned a whole bunch, you know. And they've decided to reload it, and they're doing a virtual judging for the competition. They limited it to 100 entries and very minimal categories. I've got 2 going in there. John's got 2 going in there. I've got a double IPA and a single IPA. I've got an idea in my head what it's going to be. On Saturday, I'm brewing the prototype of the double IPA just to kind of work some tweaks out. The last time I brewed it became a triple IPA, and it was phenomenal. And I was told by a couple people that's the best beer I've ever made before. And then why would I mess with it, right? Because, you know, what if I could do it one little step better? So we'll see what happens with the prototype. Either way, that one's going to be good, but I'll make a decision within the next few weeks on which of those 2 I'm going to enter into that competition. I'm going to have to dial the malt back a little bit on it to maybe not make it not 11%, you know. And then a single IPA, I've been working on IPA recipes for a couple years now, and just really have nailed down some good stuff. So I'm looking forward to getting some beer and some competition this year. You know, we missed so many of it with the national homebrew competition, the Charlie Orr Cup, which has been reloaded, but also the Michigan,
and the Michigan Beer Cup, also
Michigan Beer Cup, and Michigan State Fair. You know, all those ones where we were doing really well last year, but got another year of, like, you know, studying and good brewing under our belts to, like, come back better the next year. But all canceled, you know, and all that brewing.
Well, one bright point of that is that we can say that the KGB, our beer club, the Kunin Guild of Brewers, we actually get to retain all of our trophies and cups and everything that we earned last year for another year with no competition.
Yeah, basically that's it, you know. But so yeah, I took a little break over the last few weeks, 4 weeks probably, where I haven't done a whole lot with it, but you know, working with some recipes on paper and doing some reading on it. So I'm ready to get back started. And I was going to make it last weekend, but you know, when the temperature's molten lava and you're standing over a hot brew kettle, man, and it's 100% humidity, that's a rough day, you know. But I may have to just bite the bullet and do it on Saturday, even though it's going to be 90 plus degrees. So,
yeah. Actually, what I'm entering for the Charlie Orr Cup is I'm actually taking what I mentioned before was my Zuber Pale Luza, which is my camping beer. I'm going to enter that. And then I'm actually going to use, or steal one of Doug's recipes that we kind of collaborated on, and I came up with a water profile for him. And he brewed a brown ale that was the original Newcastle clone, and turned out just absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to try and replicate that and turn that in as my second beer for the Charlie Earl Cup.
Awesome. Well, as Doug said, it's kind of hot to be brewing. I'm looking to buy some new equipment and get back into brewing, but I'm in no hurry to start brewing with triple digits out here for another month or two. So probably be tabling my return to home brewing till the fall. Probably September is a realistic goal. So stay tuned for that. Look forward to joining you guys back in the game, but I think I'm going to buy an Anvil electric brewing system.
Nice. Hey, actually, I did want to make one kind of to go. I'm jumping backwards a little bit here, but talking about the marshmallow beer that I think it was Greg that had, reminded me of, and I was kind of doing a little shout out to a very small, obscure brewery in northern Michigan. They say they're in Petoskey, but they're really more like close to Walloon Lake, but really in the middle of nowhere, called Burnt Marshmallow Brewing. And I went there actually 2 summers ago, and I got they call it a s'more porter.
I've had that.
Yeah, have you been there?
Yes, I've been there. That's a great place. A little nano brewery. That's great.
Totally out of nowhere. I mean, they're like turn off the highway and you drive 3
mile
miles.
and a half.
Yeah,
a couple miles. Yeah.
So it's like there's no big sign or anything, and it's basically like in a barn. But the s'more porter that they make, they actually take one of those big giant campfire marshmallow. And when I was there was actually, I guess I don't know if it was the parents or the grandparents of the brewer, and they were in there, and it was kind of funny watching because they're like, to them this whole craft beer thing was just very kind of a foreign sort of thing, and they were kind of cool with it and everything, but they put this giant marshmallow on top of your beer, and then they take a little butane torch and catch it on fire.
Yep. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's where the whole name of their brewery is, the Burnt Marshmallow. And I will have to say it was delicious, but I mean, yeah, nano, is nano is smaller than micro, right?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, I mean, it was like this little mom and pop shop, but if anybody's ever up in northern Michigan in that area, it's worth stopping in. They had, that beer obviously, but they actually had a couple of real good fruited beers. I don't remember off the top of my head if they were Gosas or sours or whatever, but they had some pretty darn good beer, and just a very quaint, middle of nowhere, very scenic area. They had outdoor seating that you could sit on, and you could just over the tops of the trees you could see Walloon Lake. Really cool place. But yeah, the whole marshmallow thing made me think of that.
Awesome. Good shout out to a nice, small, tucked away brewery in northern Michigan.
ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth, and as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the name your price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
ChristopherMedia.net.
So I think that's about it for the home brewing. I don't really have a whole lot of beer news. I think we beat to death the challenges of COVID and tap rooms opening, closing, having to have restrictions. So I'm not going to beat that dead horse, but I am going to say that I'm excited that I got to order some beer online that I normally would have never got to do. There's a brewery called Ozark Beer Company in Arkansas that makes a legendary beer called Ozark BDCS. BDCS stands for Bourbon Double Cream Stout. It's a beer that I've had a couple years ago. I believe our buddy Dan Geis, who's been on the show, is a seasoned beer nut, provided those first few cans to me. But through some of my friends around the country and various beer groups, they decided to do an online sale, and they allow proxies. So I had a few people who volunteered a proxy, and I went on and I said, I remember how good that beer was. Really good, smooth double cream stout, aged in bourbon barrels. So I went on and bought a couple 4-packs, and I'm excited that just yesterday. I'm on their website now, and if anybody wants to order anyone, there's still some left. I think the release started yesterday. Amazingly, there's still some left. So if anybody wants to buy this, if you know somebody in Arkansas or nearby that can pick it up as a proxy, you can order and designate somebody to pick it up for you. And for those of you beer nuts on the broadcast now, if anybody has any interest, talk to me offline, and I'd probably get my guy to pick some up for you too. So excited about that.
Where in Arkansas?
I was afraid you were going to ask that. I'm on the website. Hold on, let me. So it's the Ozark Beer Company.
Okay.
Let me see here. Fruit Infusions. They have a lot of stuff. Oh, Rogers, Arkansas. I can't say I know where Rogers, Arkansas is.
Yeah, I can't either.
But I can tell you that I've had this beer before, and it was good enough that I remembered when I saw a chance to get more, I was jumping on it. And I know Dan Geis turned me on to this, and it was one of the best barrel-aged stouts I've ever had. Comes, I think, in a 12-ounce can, and it's very commonly known in the craft beer circles as BDCS, so highly recommended. If you don't want to jump on and get a 4-pack, I got 8 cans coming, so I can probably send one your way so you can try it, Doug. But
looks like they're about as northwest of Arkansas as you can almost get. I mean, they're north of Fayetteville, which is pretty far northwest. So imagine that.
And when I did the release,
I actually thought Arkansas only had one city, and that was Little Rock.
So I didn't.
Yeah, a friend of mine is in Siloam Springs, which is a little further north, but it's probably not that far north.
So I'm looking on their website, and I'm now thinking, oh boy, when I ordered this BDCS, I should have checked some other things out. There is just a regular cream stout. There's a IPA lager, bourbon barrel aged quad. So, but I know this one is legendary and well known throughout the South, and looking forward to getting some of that. I think that it's not even released till August. So even though I bought it yesterday, it's probably going to be at least a month till my guy picks it up, and another week or two till he sends it to me. So probably around, in the beginning of September, look for this to be reviewed on a Beer Nuts episode soon, because now that I've talked about it, I'll make it a point to work it in when I receive those. Anybody else have anything? I know there's been some new Founders beers released. Anybody want to talk about those?
Is that episode, JR, going to be beers from Arkansas?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Does anybody have Doug, you're the musician of the group. You have a banjo handy for that one?
Let me get the banjo. You got to give me a minute for that one. It's kind of buried behind a few things.
Who picks who?
No, I'm not gonna. I am not going to pain you guys with my out-of-tune banjo tonight. Sorry.
Well, you have till September. You can cue it up for when I review this beer, but
yeah, I'll play the banjo if we do an Arkansas episode, that's for sure.
All righty.
Yeah, I got something new from Founders in my fridge. It's some kind of an imperial coffee beer with vanilla and
Is it the Marvel roast?
Pardon?
Was it the Marvel roast?
It's the Marvel roast, yeah.
Yes, that really. I actually had that, Doug, when you and Screw and I were at the Sedona Tap House.
Oh, right. Okay.
Actually, they call it a golden ale, which was funny because, I mean, the color was, a nice, definitely golden color, but it tastes like a mocha milkshake. I mean, it was delicious, absolutely delicious beer.
Yeah, I'll probably crack one after the show at this point. So
nice.
Yeah, definitely coffee, and it's like it's one of those beers where you sit there and you look at the color and you go, okay, I'm gonna taste this, and you taste it, and it's like, this doesn't taste like it looks at all. It's kind of like a white stout. It's like a unicorn.
Shoot, go ahead, crack it open now.
But it does, and it was a great beer. I think I'm looking at it on Untapped right now, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Wow.
Living large.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, does anybody want to do another beer? Because I do if no one else does.
Well, go for it. I'm good with what I got.
Do it.
I will, because I still have a little bit of this French Toasty. It is just so sweet. It's a sipper, and it tastes great. And, I'm actually, now that I'm near the end of this, I wish I actually had a plate of French toast. I'd pour the rest of my glass right on it.
Next episode, brunch episode.
So we'll have a little bit of fun here.
Yell out to Jane and have her make you some.
Yeah, she's walking the dog, so she's not even
slathered in butter and stuff.
Amen. So I'm going to call an audible here. I'm going to
run downstairs.
Do a beer that I recently had to go to Oregon related to settling my mother's estate. My mother passed away in May, and I had to go take a trip to Oregon and meet my brother up there. I took my son, and he took his son, and we also got a little golfing in while we were up there at Bandon Dunes Resort, which is near where my mother lived in Coos Bay, Oregon. But we flew in and out of Eugene, Oregon, home of the Oregon Ducks and the University of Oregon, and our hotel amazingly had a brew pub in the basement called Sun River Brewing, the brew tap room. So the last night we were there before we flew out the next morning, we went there had something to eat and, of course, some beers. And right about as we were wrapping up our meal, I mentioned to our server that we did the Beer Nuts podcast and everything, and I was asking about a couple of their beers. And they had some really nice IPAs and Scottish ale I liked. And when I told him that, he goes, I'll be right back. And he brought me 2 cans of beer that were limited release. They weren't even for sale, I don't think, at the brewery. But he gave me 2 cans, and he goes, if you have a chance, mention it on your podcast. So I got to make good on my word. So this particular can I have is their limited release Sun River Brewing Company On Tap second anniversary IPA, 7.2% ABV, 65 IBU. I have no other information on what hop profile is in this, but I'm going to open it up and we're going to give it an honest review here. So shout out to our peeps up at Sun River in Oregon for being kind enough to gift me these 2 cans of beer. The other one was the Scottish ale that I liked. They did have cans of that, and they just gifted me a can of that. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. But this, I have no idea what to expect. This is completely, I don't have any information other than it's their second anniversary IPA. So I know that the IPAs I had there, one of the characteristics I really enjoyed is they have that nice Northwest resinous characteristics. You see, I had their website up. Resin Nation, I think, was one of the ones I had there. And I always love a good beer with a resiny mouthfeel. And there was another beer that I enjoyed called Vicious Mosquito, another IPA that I had there. So I was really impressed with their IPAs, and also that Scottish ale stood out as something I enjoyed. So So let's go ahead and I just poured myself this. This is definitely not an East Coast. It's not hazy at all. You can see through it. It's clear. It's a little bit light, a little bit darker than like a light straw color. It's a golden, maybe just a tad shade darker than most of your standard beers. It's got a really nice one finger head. It started out at about 2 fingers, but it leveled off at 1, and it's not going away. And I've had this for a couple of weeks, so it's still pretty fresh. So really nice appearance on this. Super clear, indicative of the West Coast style APA. Definitely getting a lot of like the piney, and I can almost smell the resin. Which is characteristic of the other IPAs I had from them. So nice piney, hoppy aroma. I'm going to taste it now. And it's going to take a couple tastes because I'm still got that cloying sweet mead on my palate. So, yeah, this is a really, really enjoyable classic West Coast IPA. Reminds me almost of a Pliny the Elder. I mean, if I blind tasted this, I might even say it was kind of like that nice resiny mouthfeel. Piney, West Coast hops, no frills. There's not a lot of fancy stuff going on here. It's just that classic West Coast, which before the haze bombs came out, this is what everybody cherished. But for me personally, coming back to this is a really nice, another beer it kind of reminds me of, Doug, and one of the, I like his Arctic Panzerwolf. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that too from Three Floyds, but this is West Coast. This has got Oregon all over it. This is a, classic West Coast IPA, and these guys did a tremendous job with this. Let me just take more sips, see if I can get some more descriptors for you.
So, classic West Coast, just like a Two-Hearted Ale, right?
Well, Two-Hearted gets that Centennial. I don't taste Centennial in this. I'm not sure what hop mix it is because they don't today, but it's piney, it's resiny, bitter, 65 IBUs. Not ridiculous bitter, but a good bite to it.
Yep.
And without any information, I anything with Centennial, that's the one hops I can always pick out a million miles away. It's got for me, I detect almost like a perfumey aroma out of Centennial and a flavor. And it just might be me, and everybody's got different sensory abilities, and I nail every time I get a beer with Centennial, and I can tell right away. There's no Centennial in this. I think this is probably, this is probably Cascade, probably primarily Cascade, and what are the 3 C's? Yeah, there's no Centennial in this. I would know.
No, I was just referring to actually
Columbus.
Is from
I think the 3 C's.
Very classic West Coast
There's
style.
No in this either. I would say Cascade, Columbus, probably for sure, and then I'm not sure what else.
Maybe some Chinook.
Yep, exactly. But I can tell you that if you like a West Coast IPA, which I think most of us do, you would enjoy this. I think the flavor profile and the mouthfeel, that resinous mouthfeel, is what I really like the most about this. So shout out to Sun River Brewing. I don't have the card. I don't remember the guy's name, my server that gave me this, but I want to thank those guys wholeheartedly for being kind enough to give me a couple extra cans of beer. As it was, I didn't really bring any beer back with me from that trip except for these 2 cans because I had a pretty tight packed suitcase with belongings and stuff that I was bringing back from my mom's estate. But I still got the Scottish Ale left, and I'll be enjoying that in the next week or so. So.
JR, you should have saved that beer for the payola episode.
For the what?
For the payola episode.
What's that?
Like back when the music companies, they used to go to the DJs and they pay them money so they can play their music.
Ah, okay. No. Well, they just gave me a couple freebies. It was no big deal. I'm not looking to cash in. But I do appreciate, always appreciate, somebody hooking you up. Yeah, a little, they scratch my back with a couple freebies, and I'll scratch them with a review. And, I'm not pulling any punches here. I'm not just giving them a good review because they gave me the beer. It's giving a good review because it's really good. So I'm not for sale. But that being said,
I don't know. Sound like you sold out for 2 beers.
I couldn't bought.
Right,
If the
they
price
still,
is right.
I still had to pay my full. I still had to pay my full
Is
tab.
what is the best beer?
If they had picked up my tab, I might have been
Ooh.
plugging. But no, seriously. Any brewers listening, please contact us if you want us to review your beer. We don't take bribes, but we will take free beer.
Yes.
Yeah, but the proverbial question of what is the best beer? There's a couple of things that the beer I'm drinking, free beer, and
in most cases cold beer too.
The beer that's freshest and where the brewery is closest to you.
Yeah. Speaking of that, just a little spoiler for our next episode. The topic will be freshies, freshest beer you can find. So
freshy.
Be on the lookout for fresh beer for our next episode. Anybody else have any final comments or any more beer you want to review?
I actually went and just got another beer that I could review, but if I did review it, I would give it absolutely glowing reviews for everything because it's a beer that I made myself. It's actually technically I'm trying to think of what the category is. Base beer is a Belgian Pale Ale. And I guess it's a winter seasonal beer is the official BJCP category. But it's a Belgian Pale Ale base with ginger, clove, cinnamon. Last year's version won a gold medal at the Michigan Beer Cup. Sure, I wasn't able to enter it, but I'm sure it would have won another gold because it's that good. But I'm kind of going off season, to Christmas in July, so I thought I'd throw one in the fridge and crack it open, and it's aging just fantastic. And by Christmas next year, it's going to be superb.
So
but that's a totally unbiased opinion.
Yeah, it's outstanding. I've had it. Here's a little interesting information about it is John Golden and I brewed a 10-gallon batch of the same base beer, and his turned into his Winter Carnival, which he's sampling right now, not this year's, but the previous year that he won the gold medal on. His turned into that. Mine turned into a Belgian root beer, where I added...
which was awesome.
Yeah, I took a silver medal in the Michigan State Fair with that beer. So, to have like two beers made out of one, basically, and have both of them medal high in the same year is pretty cool, in my opinion.
Yeah, and actually two very distinct styles, but I think, it shows that the base recipe was just a very solid recipe and that we did a good job as far as execution, water profile and making sure that we heat the grains correctly and the boil was done and came out with two medal winning beers in 2 different competitions.
In different categories. I put mine in the spice beer category.
Well, that's testament to a good base beer because you both took something and did something different with it and both got recognized for it. So great job, guys.
And actually, I did actually have a 5-gallon kegs of just the base beer, the Belgian Pale Ale, sitting in my basement right now, waiting for the argument to get over between me and my wife of who gets to use the refrigerator to cool this thing off versus like, I need to put my stuff in there. It's like, you just want to put food in there. Who cares about food? I'm talking about beer.
Home brewed beer, yeah. And I made a second batch of the root beer and made a few tweaks on it. It's a lot different this year, I think, in a good way. I think there's a couple more things I could still do with it. But this year's version tastes like, I don't know, you remember those hard candies? They were like root beer barrels.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that beer tastes just like, without the sweetness to it.
Oh, I'm sold. I'm sold.
It's just right there. So
I'll take a bottle.
And that one's going to be a winner. It's already been a winner, but
Greg, we need to get you like up into Oakland County from Dearborn and share some of our beers.
Oakland County, where the heck is that? Oh, shit.
Yeah, I know. It's at one right above you.
That's BFE, man.
Greg's been over a few times.
Yeah, a couple times.
All you got to do.
We've done some episodes here.
That's true. I have been up there. That's right.
Well,
I just got to renew my passport. One of these days.
Yeah.
Once we can get back to traveling, Steve V and I still want to come out there for a Michigan Brewers Guild Festival, but it looks like it'll probably be next summer before we consider doing anything like that.
No. Winter's the time to come, boys. Come on.
Nope.
Bring your coat.
Yeah, I moved to Arizona.
You can do it.
Bring your coat and your gloves.
I have a parka. I'm ready to go.
My blood.
Steve's ready. Steve's tough. I like him. Let's do it.
Yeah, they have.
I'll cry and complain the whole time, but I'll go.
Hey, you fit right in.
All right, everybody. Is everybody ready to go to Mexico City?
Let's do it. Adios.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll be back with our next episode of Fresh Beers, Freshies. Thanks for listening. Find us on Beer Nuts at Beer Nuts Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all those great places. Until then, as they say in old Mexico City,
F.
Antes de tener mi cuenta de Chase Secure Banking, debía correr a la casa de cambio. Primer cargo. Luego, de nuevo a comprar giros postales para pagar servicios. 2 cargos más. Pero ahora, con Chase Secure Banking, puedo pagar servicios, cobrar cheques y enviar dinero, todo por un pequeño cargo mensual por servicio de $4.95.
Visita chase.com/Secure Banking para abrir tu cuenta sin depósito mínimo. Chase, logra más con lo que tienes.
Se aplican cargos por ATM que no pertenecen a Chase. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. miembro de FDIC.
It's easy to find flooring online, but imagining those floors on your floor? A bit trickier. So Lumber Liquidators made Picture It, which adds our floors to a photo of your space. Just point, snap, and choose a floor. It's great if you're looking for new floors. Also, still fun if you're not. Try Picture It, only at llflooring.com. These are the floors homes are built on. Get free samples of your favorite floors sent to your home. Visit llflooring.com to order today.
ChristopherMedia.net.